After our family reunion, I discovered $6,200 was missing. My brother-in-law smirked. Consider it redistribution. I calmly pulled out a folder. Then the door burst open, silencing everyone. They weren't laughing anymore that I'm Aaron, 36 years old. Until recently, I believed that family was sacred, that some lines couldn't be crossed. But this year's family reunion taught me otherwise. Blood doesn't always mean loyalty. Sometimes it means entitlement, and sometimes it means betrayal. Dressed up in a smile and a hug, I hosted the reunion at my cabin in Pine Hollow, a place I'd bought and renovated without telling anyone. It was a surprise, something good, something unifying. My sister Leah and her husband Mitch arrived first, along with their kids. Mitch gave me a firm handshake, trying to establish dominance, but I brushed it off. Leah was her usual self, warm and distracted, always playing peacekeeper. The weekend unfolded like these things usually do. Barbecue smoke filled the air, kids ran barefoot through pine needles, and wine bottles popped open as the sun dipped behind the trees. I handled most of the logistics: grill duty, towel distribution, grocery runs. No one asked who paid for anything. No one even thought to offer. But on Sunday night, something started to feel off. I went back inside to grab my camera bag and noticed that my business debit card and $6,200 in cash were gone. I froze, standing there in the hallway as the laughter from the fire pit drifted through the screen door. My first thought was denial, but I knew I hadn't misplaced it. I always kept my emergency fund labeled and crisp. I didn't say anything that night. Not yet. I barely slept, lying in the cabin's guest room, staring at the wood-paneled ceiling, going over everything. Who had been inside? Who had touched my bag? My mind kept circling back to Mitch. He was the only one who had been alone in the cabin during the grocery run Saturday. The next morning, everyone gathered for breakfast. I stirred my coffee and waited. When Mitch leaned back in his chair, sipping orange juice and cracking a joke about how expensive lakeside groceries must be these days, I locked eyes with him. I waited until the kids left the table. Then I spoke. "I'm missing some money," I said, calm and even. "Quite a bit of it." It was in a folder in my camera bag. The table quieted. My aunt blinked. My cousin set her fork down. Leah's face tightened like a balloon that had been stretched too far. Mitch didn't even blink. He leaned forward with that infuriating half-smile of his and said, "Well, maybe it's time for a little redistribution, huh?" That's when the door burst open and Detective Marlowe stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the morning light. He wasn't alone. He had a badge, a warrant, and a very personal reason for being there. The room went dead silent. Mitch was arrested and taken away. But as it turned out, the missing money was just the tip of the iceberg. I discovered that Mitch had been involved in a much larger scheme, one that went deeper than I'd ever imagined. And I wasn't the only one who knew about it. As the truth came out, I realized that my family was not what I thought it was. My uncle Rick had been orchestrating the scheme, and he'd involved Mitch and Cameron, his cousin. They'd been siphoning money and manipulating the system, and I'd been their golden goose. The agents from the Department of Homeland Security arrived, and Rick was detained for questioning. The others were shocked, stunned. Leah cried, but I didn't feel sorry for her. She knew Mitch was stealing, and she said nothing. As I watched them take Rick away, I felt a sense of relief. It was over. The truth was out, and I could finally move on. I grabbed my backpack and slung it over my shoulder. The others stayed, frozen, unsure what to do next. I gave them nothing, just silence. As I stepped out onto the porch, the air hit me like a clean slap, cool, pine-scented, sharp. I walked down the path toward my car, leaves crunching beneath my boots. And as I pulled open the driver's door, I paused. I looked back once, just once, at the cabin that had been filled with so much laughter just 48 hours ago. That same cabin now stood as a monument to a family I thought I knew. And the truth I could never unsee again. Maybe it was better this way, because sometimes cutting ties isn't cruelty, it's survival. And for the first time in a long time, I felt free.